With over 2,000 hours in the game and Season 3 being upon us, I've decided to drop you 20 plus tips that'll help you out in every single scenario in this game. Before we get into it, make sure you leave a like, subscribe, and make sure you follow me on Twitch because I stream almost every day. And without further ado, let's hop right into it. So with Season 3, we have a couple new things that you're going to want to know about and that can help you get into raids at a much quicker pace. So first things first, they did add free loadout runs. So if you want to deploy with a free loadout run, you go to your map, you choose your map, and you go to free loadout, and basically you have a free kit to use. You literally have to do nothing but use this kit. You literally go in and it's a free kit for you. But the best new thing that they added that'll help you out and get into raids even quicker are these loadout presets. So if you go to your inventory, you can press a preset, and basically this is the preset that I have ready. So I made a preset with some stims, smokes, and a bag. So I press equip preset, and bam, I don't gotta run to the shop, I don't gotta buy smokes, I don't gotta buy stims. It's literally all right there at the click of a button. So if you make a preset with just stims, smokes, maybe an ammo type that you always use, you can always be ready at a much quicker pace. I also have different presets like this one, which is a blue kit with a guarantee and a sniper. Then I have another one with some green kits. But basically, you want to make a preset with stims, smokes, and this can help you be ready extremely quickly. If we go over here to the gear printer, when you're repairing your armor, and imagine you have a whole list full of armors that need to repair, you don't need to click repair, then repair, then repair. Click the repair button once, and then start spamming spacebar, and it'll just auto repair everything. So you click repair once, and then just start spamming spacebar, and it'll make sure that everything is repaired. So click repair once, and start spamming spacebar, and it'll all be done. Keycards can be a real hassle this season. So as you see, my stash is pretty much full, but that's because I have all my keycards in my stash. So make sure to put all your key cards in your safe pocket. It's going to be much better because I'm clearing about 15 spots worth of stash space. So it's extremely important that you do this because why not? Now I have 30 slots in my stash available. I do lose 1.5 pounds in my safe pockets, but it's okay. Now, if you're running around the map and you see that you're out of stamina, one thing people mostly do is they just stop, stand still. They don't do anything. They just stand still, full upright, and just wait for their stamina bar to get back up to its full capacity. But that's not the quickest way to get your stamina back. Now, if we lose all our stamina again, if we actually go into a crouch position and start crouch spamming, we are going to get our stamina back at a much quicker pace. As you see here, we're staying still, we're crouch spamming, and look at our stamina bar go up extremely quickly compared to just standing still. Now, the reason we also crouch spam is so if someone is going to shoot at us, we will hopefully not get headshot. So if you start crouch spamming, it's the best way to regain stamina once you're out of it. One thing about running around in this game as well is that when you run around with lighter weapons, like you have your knife out, you have a bulldog, you have an SMG, you're going to run at a much quicker pace compared to when you're using, let's say, a guarantee or one of those bigger weapons like a sniper. You also are going to use less stamina. So if you have a smaller weapon, again, you take out your knife, you use a pistol, you use an SMG, you're going to use less stamina and you're going to run quicker. But if you take out a guarantee, you pull out a sniper, you're going to run at a much slower pace and you're going to lose stamina at a quicker pace. So if you're running on the map and you have an AR, don't run out with your AR out, run out with your knife out. But if you have one of those smaller weapons like an SMG, you can run around with your SMG out and use the same amount of stamina as if you had your knife out. If you have any questions like, does this gun slow me down? Does this gun slow me down? Hop over to my Twitch and ask me in chat because I will answer any questions you have. Now, movement in this game is a really big topic. It's super helpful in a lot of different scenarios, but there's this one thing called a super slide. When you're sprinting and you're going off of a ledge, imagine you're getting chased, you have to make a quick escape. You can double tap your crouch button and slide off of the ledge extremely far, as you saw as I just did there. You sprint and then you double tap your crouch button as you're sliding off the ledge. So we'll see here when I do it, I'm going to run towards the ledge. I'm going to double tap my crouch button and look how far I slide. I slide extremely far. And if I'm running away from someone, I can double tap my crouch, do a super slide, and keep up the pace and keep running at a much quicker speed compared to if I kind of fail my super slide like right here. As you see, I land a little closer to the ledge and I'm going to be at a slower pace when I land. So make sure you super slide to get that speed and keep it together. Now, one thing you have to learn about movement in this game is that there's also a type of slide jump. So if you sprint, slide, and jump, you can slide jump side to side just like I'm doing here, and you can chain these jumps together in order to kind of avoid people shooting at you from long ranges. You can use this to help you avoid mob attacks. You can use this slide jumping method in a lot of different ways that'll only benefit you in game. This method is a little bit hard to use. Again, it just uses stamina, so feel free to use it when you're just bored. Practice it when you're in different scenarios. This will help you in a lot of different ways. So with this method of bunny hopping, one thing you can do is check places really quickly. So I'll slide hop out, check it, slide hop back, and you can keep doing this. This is a really quick way to kind of check if someone's there without over peeking and taking a lot of damage. So you slide jump out, then slide jump back. I peek it, come back in. That's a very safe way of checking corners, just because if someone is there, you can get out really quickly, maybe get shot much less than if you just sprinted out or you just slid out normally. This is a great way to check corners and kind of be agile in a lot of different situations. Now, slide jumping is going to help you in a lot of different scenarios. So right here, you can dodge the strider attacks by slide jumping back. backwards, and as they lunge to you, you lunge backwards, and it's just another way of avoiding these creatures, because sometimes you're going to be in a situation where this is going to be helpful, like in the dungeon, for example. You have a lot of guys on you, you can slide jump back. This also works with Rattlers, so if they're going to do their lunge attack at you, you slide jump backwards and they cannot reach you. Also, when they're about to do their laser beam attack, just like this one, you are allowed to slide jump side to side to kind of avoid it very quickly. So as they're shooting, you just slide jump out of the way, just like right here. I slid jump out of the way, he's shooting at where I was, and I basically get free damage on the creature. And if he attacks me just like that, I can slide jump either left, right, backwards to avoid that attack. And again, this slide jump is one of the most used mechanics in the game, and I would recommend using this all the time, because again, just like here I'm fighting a Strider, I slide jump backwards to avoid his attack, and it can help you in so many different case scenarios. So one thing to do when you're running away from people that can help you in a lot of different scenarios is use doors to your advantage. As you see here, I'm running away from someone and I start closing the doors as I run through it, so I'm stopping and giving myself a bigger time gap as I'm running, I'm hitting the button, you just peek to the left, hit the button, like right here, the door is closed, you can peek it, open it, peek it, go under it, and just keep running. Doors can be your biggest friend. You're trying to lose someone, or you're just trying to make a bigger gap so you can have some space to heal or kill someone. Right here, I made space for myself, I'm on the roof, I can shoot the guy now, I have extra time, and it's all about just using your surroundings to help you out. So again, if you're running someone and you have the ability to close doors as you go, feel free, do it. It gives you a lot of time, and it'll help you in a lot of different scenarios. Now, this right here is probably the most asked thing. I'm gonna make a full in-depth creature guide, but basically, this is how to dodge the Jeff attacks. As you see here, I'm jumping over these attacks where he's just swiping at me. He usually does 2 to 3 swipes, then he opens his mouth, you get a good damage phase, you have to stun him, and then he goes back to the swipes. This is only if you're in his swipe range. If you're like on a ledge or something, he's gonna either do a spit attack on you, but again, you have to jump him 2 or 3 times, then he's gonna give you space to kind of shoot at his mouth. And right here, as you see, I'm also using the slide jumps to get away from the Strider, because that'll help in this situation, and it gives me more time to run through the jungle with an AR-55. If you know how to kill these mobs quickly, it's possible to do it with this gun. But again, if we slow it down really quickly, just to show you exactly when I jump, the guy is coming at me, the Jeff is here, and as he's swiping back, his arm is basically at the peak that it's gonna be at. That's when you press spacebar. You press spacebar and you jump over his attack. It's a pretty big window, so it's pretty hard to miss, but basically when he's swiping at you, like right here, you see his elbow is going all the way up. It hit that midpoint or all the way up. You're gonna hit the spacebar and jump. There's a lot of wiggle room with this, so as soon as you see the elbow hit the top, jump. Like right there, I hit the elbow, top, jump, and you can see that I dodged the attack. Now I get a good damage phase to him, and I can basically do a huge amount of damage to him. One thing that people also don't know is that if you're in the jungle or in an area with these types of plants in front of you, as you see, there's this weird plant with like a circular thing right in front of me. It has these weird blue kind of bead thingies. If you stand near it, this plant is actually a healing plant. It'll regen your health, and the closer you are to the center of the plant, the more it'll heal you. So if you're running around low HP, you have no stims, and you see this weird looking plant, you go up to it as close as you can, and as you see, your health will go up slowly. And basically, it's a free way to heal. Like if you're doing a knife run, a free loadout, you get no stims. This is a great way to heal your health up and just be ready for whatever's to come. This plant does run out though, so once you step in the circle, it's just gonna basically keep going until it runs out. And as you see right here, it's running out of juice. It's gonna turn into this pinkish color, and once it turns this color, you can't use it anymore. It's completely out of juice. This is also a really good way of knowing if someone came into the jungle or a place with these plants. If someone runs through it and activates the plant's gonna turn pink eventually. So if you're running through and you see the plant is pink, that tells you, you know what, someone's been here, someone's used this. Might have been a while ago, but someone did come through this area. Another great tip is that you're gonna have to mine a lot of minerals. So when you're mining minerals, you don't have to hit the whole rock. Once you see one little mineral, you collect it, and rocks break around it. And when the rock breaks as a whole, that's when you know that you basically completed it. So basically, as you see here, I'm mining this right here. I don't see an ore yet, so I can't do it yet. I'm gonna keep mining till I see an ore. Keep mining till you see an ore to grab. And as you see here, I grabbed an ore. I take it, and the whole rock breaks around it. That tells me that was the only ore there. We'll go again with this one. We'll mine once. We don't see an ore. We'll mine twice. We see an ore right there. We're gonna grab it, and as you see, the whole rock broke, so we know that's all that it has to offer. When you're hitting it, and even if you don't like the ore, just grab it to break the rock quicker. Then you can drop stuff out of your bag that you don't want. But again, once you see the ore, grab it. It'll break the rock much quicker than you just pickaxing it all day. With season 3, we got the Howler, and with the Howler came these weird looking eggs. Now these eggs are all over the map, and basically they react to sound. So if you crouch walk up to them and you hold your interact key, you can actually diffuse these eggs, and it makes them not go off, and they have a chance to drop some ichor bulbs. So if you're in the area and you need some ichor bulbs, crouch walk up to them, make no noise, don't reload, don't do anything, just crouch walk up to them and hold your interact key, and you can actually diffuse these eggs. Not a lot of people know about this, so it's really good if you need extra ichor bulbs or you just need stuff in general. Like right here, you're gonna see I stand up, and that's what triggers this plant. So again, you can't really make any noise and just use it to collect some ichor bulbs from them, and it's a really good strategy. Now while we're already looking at mobs, this this is a crusher. The crusher is going to toss these huge rocks at you. And again, this is where slide jumping comes in handy once again. And as you see, he's picking up a rock. He's going to throw it at me. And what I'm going to do is when he releases that rock from his hands, I'm going to slide jump left or right, because if you didn't know, the crusher throws the rock to exactly the location you're at. So as he's throwing the rock, I'm going to slide jump left or right, and I'm going to dodge the rock completely. I'm going to get out of the way. And basically, this is how you avoid the big rock and the small rock, which are basically his most annoying attacks. So he's going to do it again. I'm going to slide jump out of the way, and it makes the crusher super simple to fight. Crusher also has these weak spots on his ankles that when you shoot his ankles and they're glowing orange, you can actually get him to go down. So as you see right here, this is his back. You have to shoot like on top of it near the spike in order to hit his weak spot from the front. You can't just shoot like at his head. You have to shoot above his back, which is really weird, but you'll get used to it. Basically, just eye the top of the spike that's on top of him, shoot at the upper part of his back, and as you see right there, I was getting some crit spots, I was getting some weak hits, but basically you have to shoot the very top of him in order to really get those weak spot hits. Howler also came with Season 3, and I'll make a full creature guide to show you how to really defeat these guys really easily, but a quick tip for the Howler is his weak spot is underneath his stomach, and it does so much more damage. It's actually unreal. So if you're trying to kill the Howler with 2 people, make sure you get 2 people in different spots, so while he's in the air, someone can shoot his weak spot, because this will absolutely destroy the Howler, especially if you have some good pen mods on your guns. Speaking of penetration mods, the penetration mods in this game are super weird, because we have normal penetration mods and we have creature penetration mods. When you're using weaker guns against weaker enemies, you're going to want to have a creature pen on your gun, because it's just going to do more damage to those weaker enemies when you have those weaker guns. But when you're using an example, a core, and you have a purple penetration mod versus a creature penetration mod, and you're fighting a crusher, those creatures that have a lot more armor, you're going to want to use the penetration mod on them, especially when you're shooting the weak spots, because it's going to do more damage. So the lower tier the enemy and the lower tier gun you have, basically the more creature pen you're going to want to have. For me personally, I would recommend you just use a normal penetration mod at all times, because creature pen can be especially annoying if you're fighting mobs and you have to fight a person, then you have a creature pen on, and the creature pen won't do anything to anyone. So for me, I would not recommend using creature pen mods basically at all. There is only really one example where a creature pen mod does come in handy. This is when you're fighting the Howler. The Howler has a weak spot that's incredibly hard to hit. If you're not shooting the enemy's weak spot, you're going to want to use a creature pen, and that's really only viable when you're fighting the Howler. So if you're fighting the Howler, I would definitely recommend rocking a creature pen, especially if you're using one of those better weapons. So when you're fighting the Howler, I would definitely recommend using a creature pen mod, just because you can't really hit the weak spot on it. Again, penetration on this game is super weird. So if you have any questions at all, comment it down below, or come by my Twitch stream and ask me anything. I'm live basically all the time. So now we're going to talk about some throwables in the game. There's a couple of throwables in the game. I don't have gas grenades on me, but gas grenades are going to be a great way to prevent people from coming to your area. But basically, gas grenades and smoke grenades can go hand in hand. So if you're trying to run away from someone and you just need to get away quickly, you can throw a smoke grenade in an area, and then when you're still running away, you can throw another gas grenade inside the smoke grenade, so the enemies can't really see your gas grenade and they run into it. They don't know there's a gas there, and basically you can get free ticks of damage on the enemies. Also, one thing that's very handy to know is that when someone throws a consumable like an audio decoy, a gas grenade, a smoke, you can actually tell what it is before it explodes. As you see here, I'm going to throw an audio decoy in the air, and pay attention to the trail on the actual decoy. So I'm going to throw a decoy in the air, and as you see, that trail is like a weird yellowish tint. That means that's an audio decoy. If I throw a smoke grenade in the air and I throw it, as you see, it's a white trail on it, so you can tell that that's a smoke grenade. And if I throw a grenade, doesn't matter which type of grenade, green, blue, red, it doesn't matter. If you throw a grenade, they're going to have a red trail on them. So that's just another way of telling what is the enemy actually throwing at you, so you know what to prepare yourself for. The gas grenade, when you throw it, it's also a green trail, so just be aware of that. Consumables are really good in this game, and you have to get used to using them. There's also one strategy that we like to call vertinating. In each grenade that you throw, there's basically a vertical ceiling that it hits. So if I throw an audio decoy all the way up, there's a certain height that it's going to reach before it starts going down, and that's how you basically learn how to vertinate. So if I have a grenade here and there's someone hiding behind that corner right there, I'm going to throw a grenade straight up, and as I play the game too much, I throw a vertinate and it lands directly on them. So basically, use smokes to practice, use audio decoys to practice, but practice throwing vertinades, because when you throw a vertinate, it actually makes it so if I'm behind a rock and I throw a grenade all the way up and down, the enemy probably isn't going to see it. But if I go from the left and I throw a grenade this way, they're going to see the grenade coming at them. So vertinades are really good at getting some really good damage on your enemies at a quick pace without them even realizing. For Season 3 to also be aware about is flashlights got buffed really heavily. So use a flashlight on every gun you have, because it shines, because the flashlights actually do a hell of a lot more than they ever did. So as you see, I'm standing pretty far back and I light up that tree, even that corner a little bit in the background. So if you're coming around a weird corner, make sure you have the flashlight on, jump peek in there, then you can tell if anyone's in there, like a dark corner in the back there, you can tell there's someone in there. But if I have the flashlight off, it's going to be a little bit harder to tell. So again, flashlights are definitely usable in this season, so use that to really check your dark corners basically anywhere you go. They also added an inspect feature this game. This isn't really a tip, but it's just a cool thing to have. If you press U, you can actually inspect your weapon. So if you want to show your friend a cool thing, get a cool thumbnail, press U, and it's actually a really cool feature that they added in the game. Also, when you're in these areas with these BlastTicks are really weird. If you go close to them and they're kind of coming at you, you can kind of pause, jump backwards, and they just explode. So there's no reason to shoot these guys. They come up to you, they pause, they explode, they pause, they explode. That guy explodes, you go close to him, he pauses, you slide jump backwards, and he explodes. So again, when you're fighting BlastTicks, no need to shoot them at all. So right here, I see a BlastTick. If I shoot him right in the face, he actually won't explode at all. So as you see right there, he didn't explode. Shoot him right in the face. Well, I didn't do enough damage there, obviously. But basically, if you see a BlastTick, you don't want him to explode, you shoot his face right there, and he actually won't even explode. Do his thing, he'll turn golden and weird. So if you shoot the top of his head, like this little weird circle part, he's gonna explode. If you shoot him straight in the face, he won't explode at all. Boys, thank you for watching. See you next one. This.